said, we're now going to move on to our next interactive session where two esteemed speakers would bat about evolution of traditional banks in digital age. I'm sure this is going to be another interesting one. And for this, I would now like to introduce you all to Mr. Mohan Tanksale, Strategic Consultant, Swift India Domestic Services. And we have Ms. Sunita Handa, Chief General Manager, IT Channels and Operations, State Bank of India. Well, a big hello and a warm welcome. With that, I would now request Ms. Sunita Handa to begin with the session, please.
Thank you. Sunita, you're on mute. Sunita, you're on mute.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Tanksale.
Good morning.
Pleasure to be part of this session and getting an opportunity to chat with you. So I'm sure it is going to be a great interaction because I have a lot of questions. In fact, if time limit is not there, I'll go on asking because the kind of positions you have held in banking industry, there is a lot to learn from you. There's a lot to know from you. So good morning to you and good morning to our audience also. Very good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Sunita. Thank you so much. I must say that, well, I'm a banker who has been in the system for almost 4.5 decades. But you are representing a bank, which is a large global bank of the largest democracy of the country, and you are representing the global IT center. So I'm very sure both of us put together will try to showcase as much as possible for the audience. What is that? I mean, I would not like the banking industry to be called traditional now. they are far away from the word traditional. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Tanksale. In fact, I would. My first question will be about your first game changer assignment you had when you were at the helm of affairs in Central Bank of India. You were chairman and MD, and that was 2012-2013. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that time, digitalization had started, but it had not become a revolution the way it has become in last 7 years or so. But then, the base was made during that time only. So how will you describe that? What were the challenges at that time? What were the motivators, and how you went ahead and created a path on which we and many others are going now? Please tell us.
So, Sunita, I started my banking career from 1974, and well, you can imagine it was all manual. But yes, there was one thing, that was the ledger posting machine. And so I always say I have seen the journey from ledger posting machine to automated ledger posting machine. Thanks to 1988 Rangarajan committee, when the computerization was introduced, a lot of resistance, from the unions, and accepted was terrible. But then from there on, the journey started, and by 2011, the whole industry had already gone into core banking solution. So it was not only a standalone branch computerization, which was the beginning. It was the entire bank to be on the core banking, and that was the real great achievement, I will say. With that, we all started working on alternate delivery channels, expansions of the ATMs, the card businesses, debit card, credit cards, so on and so forth. And I tell you that in 2008, in Union Bank of India, probably the first public sector bank to create a Department of Transaction Banking. And I had an opportunity to head the transaction banking to see that how the technology can marry to the business. And that was the real game. So when you look at the motivators or the drivers, clearly the operational efficiency was there, the convenience was there. And in my language as an old-time banker, it was a relief from a donkey manual work where we had to do the interest calculation, totaling on the ledger manually, sitting up to midnight for closing the books of accounts. And from there on, it is a great motivator, let me tell you. And as we have gone forward, let me tell you, with the advent of the private sector banks, obviously the banking system had to prepare itself for the competition, and that was another strong motivator. However, the challenges were always there and are still there on 2-3 counts, which I like to quickly say. One is the acceptance within the bank at the front office as well as administrative office. I mean, I'm still very comfortable to look at the paper and take a decision. I must take a decision on the screen. I must put my comments on the screen. I mean, all that has to evolve to really get into a mode of digitization. But evolution is happening. It means there is a great need of alignment between the business and the technology. So here I have always been saying as a practitioner that technology has to understand the pain points of the business, resolve the pain points of the business so that you are able to really give the solution. It can't be some technology companies giving a solution and trying to do it. And let me tell you that public sector has gone a big way. The biggest challenge was only that, or is even today, that your larger section of customers are from rural and semi-urban centers. And as discussed in the previous panel also, I will say that digital literacy is an answer to the deepening of financial inclusion. If we can make it happen, I am very, very confident that there is nothing like a traditional. All are contemporary or rather looking ahead of the system. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great. Definitely. See, whatever base was made by people like you who were forward-looking, who analyzed and looked at the pain points, looked at the motivators, who will, what benefits we can draw from technology, and gave it a big push. And we are reaping benefits, no doubt about it, I think.
So, Sunita, I have a question to you now. We created the base. And as you rightly said, I retired in 2013. No doubt, I went to the Indian Bank Association and now with the technology companies. But then on that base, I remember that State Bank of India, even in those days, I've been working with the consultants trying to leverage the technology at its best. And I would really like you to really tell me that how exactly that transition has been there from 2012-13 onwards to till date, how exactly State Bank and the industry has really leveraged on the digitization journey.
Okay. So last 5 years or so, say we can say 2015 onwards, there is a technology, the way, the digital payments, they have grown on a dizzy pace, and the way tremendous growth has happened. I think I can attribute the growth to 4 main drivers. So first one was what has happened in these last 5-6 years. There is penetration of mobile phones. See, on date, we have more than 1 billion mobile phone subscribers. So whatever digitalization has happened, the first credit and the first driver is mobile phone penetration. Now, out of these 1 billion plus mobile phone subscribers, around 500 million are smartphones. That also is incredible, actually. Though people had been predicting this, still people like us, we were doubting whether there will be that much growth in usage of mobile. That is one. And in fact, now a report is saying that after 2 years, the number of smart mobiles will go up to 820 millions, from 500 millions to 820 millions. This is the study is saying. And another part of the study, because you touched upon that rural and urban digital divide. Now the study is saying that mobile phone penetration and usage and the part of the budget a family spends on mobile phones, that will be same in rural area as well as urban area. So that is one, this mobile phone has been a big driver, and mobile penetration, and it will be a big driver. That was first. Second driver is the accessibility to internet. Now we have around 700 million internet users in India, and in next 4 to 5 years, it will go up to 1 billion. So then that is another, with the 3G, 4G, and now 5G also, that penetration is there. So internet usage has really grown. So that has become our second driver. Third is the kind of favorable environment our regulator and our government has created. See, without government's initiatives, or at least a role as a facilitator or somebody who encourages, so they are not only encouraging and facilitating, they're participating also. The government, the regulators, there are authorities like NPCI, then there is Swift India, all these organizations, they are really pushing together. So they are creating a very favorable environment for the digitalization to grow. So this is third. Fourth is our, BFSI. The zeal of BFSI, I count it as another driver. Because, okay, an environment is created, mobile phones are, there is a spurt, internet access is also there, but till the banks and these institutions, they take the initiative to find out new products, what helps the users, how to be inclusive about the users, how to reach more and more people, what kind of products to create, how to use these emerging technologies, how to collaborate with the small fintechs, etc., partner with them to float products which are popular. So that is our fourth driver. In fact, about the fourth driver, I'll say in BFSI, it is being said that the new ABCD for BFSI is A for artificial intelligence, B for blockchain, C for cloud computing, and D for data analytics. So it has come to that stage. Really, it has come to that stage. So now, apart from these four drivers, I'll say one super driver is the Indian consumer. See, the Indian consumer is today demanding products which are minimum touch products, which are end-to-end digital. Of course, in rural areas also awareness is increasing, their fares are going down, and then they are also asking for products, but they are asking in a different way. Let's have the basic level of technology and then slightly go ahead. So that the super driver is Indian consumer. Now, another thing, when I'm talking about the drivers, my answer will not be complete when I miss out on one thing. That one thing, how I'll explain, I was reading in a WhatsApp message the other day. Somebody was asked, who in your organization is driving digitalization these days? Answer, A, CEO, B, CIO, C, CTO. And this fellow answers, none of the above. It is the COVID-19. So, talking about the drivers for digitalization, so COVID-19 has been a big driver. And in a while, probably I'll give some data points how in SBI itself we have seen so many new customers, so many new corporates they have taken to digital means because they want minimum touch banking. They don't want to go to crowded branches, and they have adopted digitalization. So I think with that, I hope I've answered the question. What are the drivers in the last 5-6 years?
Great. You rightly said one is I appreciate your ABCD and the Indian consumer. And it is really the pandemic which has really given the pace to the whole efforts. I mean, not that the efforts were not on. We were all working on the various way forward. Some were a little proactive, some was reactive. But then the pandemic told every bank and every player in the BFS system that, well, I've got to be there.
Absolutely.
I've got to see that the customer convenience has to be taken care of. And I think it's a great boost for the digitalization in the banking sector or BFSI sector, I will say.
Yes, Mr. Tanksale, I think nobody can disagree to that. It has pushed both the service providers as well as the service consumer. Both are pushed to adopt digital and enhance it further. So my next question to you will be another game changer assignment you have held. You were CEO IBA for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016. So IBA also has a role. In my answer to the first question, I was saying that the regulator, the government, how they have pushed digitalization. So IBA, what kind of role IBA can play in enhancing digitalization in the country and taking it to masses?
Right, Sunita, as you know that the IBA represents the entire banking industry, all the segments of the banks, that is public sector, private sector, foreign banks, and the cooperative banks, plus the entire ecosystem players who are associated with us. And IBA is an organization which is probably operating more than 90 years plus, and is a body who is seen for consultation and contribution by the regulator and by the government agencies, as well as the stakeholders in the system, those who come to the IBA for it should happen like that. And let me tell you, the transition from one bank to IBA you have to think in terms of the whole industry. You can't think of Central Bank or Financial Bank or Union Bank, which you are heading at a particular time. And the IB, when I learned this, and to add to it, it was 2014, which was a game changer in the industry with the change of government. And the first drive was the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. And that was the big thing which has happened, which has helped us in penetration through ensuring that every household we have a banking account. Every household, every bank account is linked to Aadhaar, so that the DBT is totally channelized through the banking account. The leakage of thousands of crores have been arrested by this initiative. And thus IBS played a big role here. But let me tell you that NPCI was conceived and born in IBA.
Yes,
And
yes.
each and every product. And I was a part of a UPI right from the concept to the implementation, that how exactly UPI can be made successful. And I'm very, very happy to share that today UPI is playing a great, great role, not only in India, but is playing a global role. Globally, people are looking at how exactly they can really connect and work with that. Having said that, IBA with this journey also embarked on the digitization part, the trade digitization. And when we realize that the trade digitization needs a lot of risk management, particularly from the fraud's perspective, we started working on it. And the first achievement was that from 1st July 2015, all the letter of credits have been issued on the digital platform SFMS, and for all bank guarantees, the cover messages are going. But then to do an end-to-end, there's a lot to be done, and which, as you rightly said, Swift India, which we'll maybe discuss a little later. But what I will say that today the most important part and most important role which IBA can play and is playing is that you have to make sure that having created the infrastructure, what is the deficit in infrastructure? How cost efficient is the infrastructure? Because, say, let me tell you, I mean, I always say 80 crore debit cards, 5 crore credit cards. But do I have the acquiring infrastructure across? Well, I have a bank's branches, about 1,30,000 bank branches, and about 3 lakh business correspondents operating in the country, servicing 7 lakh villages, out of which 6 lakh villages having population of less than 5,000. And these are the challenges. And these challenges, if you need to really address, IBA is the only answer, where the service providers from technology, the service user, the banking industry, not only the banking. I think we have driven the insurance. Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Jama Yojana. Today, insurance penetration is increasing. Pension, that is, we have hardly any pension in the society, so pensionable society is growing. So what I will like to say that a demand should get created in the system, that how can we bridge the gap, and for bridging the gap, how the cost efficient models can be developed. And I think there is a necessity for IBA to put the foot down, that nobody is going to invest unless the return on investment is seen. I'm sure you got the point. I am the zero MDR and all that. I think the business is for profit. Well, not at the cost of poor, but then there has to be a total game changer, and IBA can play a great role because we represent and can bring the ecosystem together. I think that is what I would like to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Tanksale. And particularly the last part of your answer, that is music to every banker's ears. You are saying that if you want to have practical solutions implemented, if you want to have cost-effective solutions implemented by banks, if you want to motivate bank to keep on giving such technological solutions, you have to take care of certain things. And those certain things, how will they reach RBI's ears or government ears? IBA has to play a role. Thank you so much. I hope this is seen by each and every banker, and they will be further motivated without even asking IBA. Please listen to what
so I think, Sunita, now it's my turn to put you into a little more difficult questions. about a digital for corporate clients, because we have been always talking about the payments, reaching to the last mile, agreed. But then the real businesses happen in terms of the size and volumes are at the corporate level. And today, the corporate level, even in the pandemic, will really welcome that. What are those initiatives which you can take to see that the corporate, the government agencies, the mid-corporate, and all of them are able to really reap the benefit of technology. So I would like to hear from you, because you are the bank handling the largest corporate sector in the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad to answer this question, because yes, a lot of initiatives SBI has taken in this regard. See, what does a corporate want, and what are his dealings with banks? So mainly they'll be in 6 categories. One is collections, then payments, then investments, then borrowings, treasury, and then the trade operations. So these, any operation you think what the corporate kind of dealing they have with the bank, they will fall into one of these 6 categories. Now, any bank which is which has corporate customers, they have to ask just 2 things to themselves: how can I help corporates digitize their dealings with the bank in a secured way? One is in a secured way, and second, how can I reduce the turnaround time for the corporate? Fine, you are given a secured solution, but then if manual days, it is taking X number of days, can it be done in X number of hours, or can it be done real time? So once you have addressed these 2 questions, I think you are done. Corporates will love to come to that bank, and they will never leave you, and they'll say, no, you are our primary banker. So good thing in SBI is our top leadership has been giving a lot of emphasis on digitalization of corporates, and we have a solution, YONO Business. YONO stands for You Only Need One. YONO Business means this is for enterprises, this is for corporates, this is for trust, for even for government, and that is of all sizes, corporates of all sizes. It could be a small, it could be a MSME, it could be a medium size, it could be a large corporate, it could be a very large conglomerate. So anybody can go for this solution, YONO Business, and there, as the name suggests, you need only one. All the 6 category of dealings I told you, the trade also, treasury also, yeah.
Oh, Sunita,
they come under one umbrella.
Sunita, for want of time,
Yeah.
we will move a little faster, but I must compliment, because you and me both were the, present when the YONO was launched in London.
Yeah.
And the kind of acceptance which is there across the industry, hats off to the initiatives of YONO. I think we are left with another 5 minutes max. It is 11:45. So
then I quickly ask you one question.
Sure, please.
Yeah, so you're saying 5 minutes, so probably you can take 3-4 minutes, so then we can conclude. My question is regarding your present assignment. Presently, you are consultant to strategic consultant, in fact, to Swift India, and trade digitalization is the main motive of Swift India. What are you doing, and what are the initiatives being taken? I think our audience also will be interested in knowing.
So as we have been talking about the trade and corporate, I think the most important transactions which are happening in the markets are the letter of credit, invoice financing. Now trades are there, but that is limited to MSMEs only. And then you have got the bank guarantee business. Now these businesses are essentially happening all manually. And when we, as I said, that the journey had already commenced in IBA to do a part of the thing, but unless you are able to give a solution where corporate is able to initiate a transaction, reach to the bank, issuing bank, then the issuing bank goes to the advising bank, and advising bank informs the beneficiary corporate, and the reverse transaction. In case of LC, it is presentation of document for discounting, presentation of document acceptance, payment. And for the bank guarantee, it is acceptance of bank guarantee, discharge, invocation, amendment, whatever it is. So unless you are able to convert this entire activity on the digital platform, you really don't achieve the digitization. Then just think of when we have been talking to various departments like customs. Customs receives 3 lakh guarantees every month. Where would they store it? All physical, they have to maintain the MIS for that. And thus the trade digitization was the thought process which we conceived. IBA gave a, when you talk to IBA gave a shelter, the ownership that yes, we formed a working group and we start working on. Today, I'm very happy to tell you that on the trade side, let's talk of a bank guarantee. Now, bank guarantee digitalization is very easy because on a cross-border we are using it. So we have tried to digitalize suiting the customers. But stamping was the biggest challenge. Because if it is to be typed on the stamp paper, no. So we have tied up with the Stockholding Corporation of India, as well as trying to tie up with other agencies to see that the stamping also happens digitally and embossed digitally of the bank guarantee. So the whole movement of the bank guarantee becomes digital. Similarly, on the letter of credit, I got a signal of 2 minutes from the organizers. So, letter of credit, I'll only say in a minute that the most important document is a transport document. And our suggestion has gone to Government of India to convert the e-way bill into a transport document. Thus, the whole set of papers can move digitally from the supplier to the bank and discount, present it and accept it. And thus, the complete finance can happen to B2B, reverse. With this, I think I'll stop here.
Thank you very much.
I must ask you to give a last minute level as a working banker. That what exactly will make a difference and will be out of the traditional nomenclature.
Yeah, just in one line, I say that the banks take care of all segments of customers and take care of all the choices they make, whether digital or completely digital. If bank can cater to that, we are done. Banks are done. And then we are moving toward true digitalization and total digitalization in banking industry. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, and see you again in some other panel, I'm sure. Yes.
Thanks to the for giving an opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I wish the opportunity could have just gone, right? I mean, I'm just the one thing that, these sessions shouldn't have been time bound. I feel that it would have just gone and on. And well, that said, it is super insightful. Well, Miss Handa, I'm guessing the mantra of YONO for business is more like, you only need one because you only live once, so live it successfully. So, thank you so much, Mr. Mohan Tanksale. Thank you so much, Ms. Sunita Handa. You were amazing with your insights. And with that, as we learn from each of the sessions today, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important for us to take a look at the latest technologies as well. I mean, technologies that will just help us upscale our payment methods. And for that, I urge you to visit the exhibit partners page by clicking on the exhibit arena icon the moment you enter the lobby. With that said, if you wish to have like a one-on-one session as well, you may visit the social lounge as well. It's again right in the lobby area. Do not also forget to visit the Group IB and Vinca Cyber booth to know more about fraud hunting platform and threat hunting framework as well. With that said, do not forget there are Amazon vouchers as well up for grabs. All you have to do is go ahead to the virtual photo booth, pose as the way you like, and do not forget to tag us as you upload on your social media profiles. LinkedIn would be Sapphire Connect, Twitter would be @Connect Sapphire, Facebook would be Sapphire Connect. And with that said, the hashtag of today's summit is #SC Payground. Once again, Mr. Tanksale, thank you so much. Ms. Handa, thank you so much. You have
Thank you.